The story tells itself, except the woman had been drinking a lot of gin. I was in the middle of a very gentle ballad that I'd written, and she wanted me to sing the Rolling Stones. But I was still playing a song, and in those days I didn't do a lot of Rolling Stones. I'd gotten kind of burned out on doing it with a band in Bermuda. But she decided the solution to the problem was to park right here and start singing it to me. Like I was going to just pick it up any time. It's called I Don't Play the Rolling Stones. Well, I was playing guitar in a Bahamian bar when she staggered up next to me. I told her 6 times I didn't do any Stones, but she still sang all the verses to me. And she asked me what is it that I normally do. I said nothing, I'm just sailing around. In a slurred voice she insisted that I must do something, almost missed her stool trying to sit down. I told her I was cruising. She smiled and said so was she. I told her that meant sailing the oceans, but she just stared at me vacuously. With her husband looking helpless across the bar, frustration eating him to the bone. She whined, I don't get no satisfaction because I wouldn't play the Rolling Stones. Then she said, what kind of singer are you anyway? As she tried to look me right in the eye. I was doing my best to keep from being rude, but got harder as each moment went by. I had an awful urge to make a smart-ass remark and just put her right in her place. But I forced a smile and I tried to be patient, just wishing she'd pass out on her face. I told her I was cruising. She smiled and said so was she. I told her that meant sailing the oceans, but she just stared at me vacuously. With her husband looking helpless across the bar, frustration eating him to the bone. She whined, I can't get no satisfaction, but I don't play the Rolling Stones. So she moved down the bar and started hitting on Jay, asking him what did he do. He smiled and answered as little as possible, and lady, what's it to you? Then she staggered back to her husband. She missed her stool and she fell on the floor. He looked up tight, we thought there might be a fight, but he just steered her carefully towards the door. I told her I was cruising. She smiled and said so was she. I told her that meant sailing the oceans, but she just stared at me vacuously. With her husband looking helpless across the bar, frustration eating him to the bone. She whined, I can't get no satisfaction, but I refuse to play the Rolling Stones. I told her I was cruising. She smiled and said so was she. I told her that meant sailing the oceans, but she just stared at me vacuously. With her husband looking helpless across the bar, frustration eating him to the bone. She whined, I can't get no satisfaction, but I refuse to play the Rolling Stones.